Hi, I'm back with the second attempt at this video. I'm still learning how to do lives and not very successfully yet, but hopefully this one will work better. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to recreate the cards. So I've got all the things I'm going to need here. I'll talk you through those and the measurements shortly. So the original cards I made were this set, and I was using up my retired pattern paper, and as you know, if you've seen my any YouTube videos or my Facebook page, I love it, chop it. It's popularised by Kylie Bertucci, and it's a great way of using your pattern paper and really being inspired to get some quick beautiful cards done so you can actually send them out to people that you care about. So these are ones I did. The paper's retired, but the stamping sentiments are from the Flowing Flowers, which is a lovely set, and I'm also using the Contours dies, which makes some lovely labels. This beautiful gorgeous grape sheer ribbon is retiring, so if you're wanting that, I suggest you get in quick. But what I'm using now is something that is current paper. So this is actually from the annual catalogue, page 171. This is actually a hostess, something you can earn as a hostess. So when that happens, I can come to your place, or you can come to mine with a group of friends who want to have a fun activity, making some cards or some other paper craft activity. And if you're the hostess, you can earn some gorgeous free stuff, and this is something you can get at a huge discount. So this is what's lovely about this paper, is that, as you can see here, it's all coloured on one side of the paper, and the reverse side of all of them is black and white. So you can make some lovely cards with those. The one I chose to do was a pattern paper that is black and white on one side. You can see this lovely buffalo check, and this is the in a crushed curry and one of the other yellows from our range. This is the other side of this paper. So this is a really quick card to make. It's great for using your pattern paper, but there are a few little things that can go wrong, and so you don't have to make those mistakes. I've made them for you, and I'll tell you how to avoid them. Okay, so the benefit of me already having a failed video doing this failed live is I do have a couple of other cards that are on the go. So this is another one which I was starting to make last night, and you can see you can turn it on the side. If you watch through to the end of the video, you'll see I'm going to give you a little tip on how to easily do these stamped sentiments, especially if you're doing a bulk amount, or if you want to be really sure that they are stamped square, because it can be really annoying when they're not. Okay, so that's one I made last night. So if I didn't introduce myself, I'm Carol Ann. Here's some of my details here. I'm an Independent Stampin' Up demonstrator in Cambridge, New Zealand. Okay, so I've already prepared these, and we may use these on it, but I'm going to show you how to do another one. Obviously, the black and white is a nice option, but I did use this on the black on the yellow also looks great. And so first of all, I'm going to show you what not to do. Shall I show you that first? Yes, I think I will. So no, I'll show you what to do, and then I'll show you what happens if you don't do it that way. Okay, so I've got two pieces of pattern paper here that are the same size. I'll write the sizes down for you in a moment, and that'll be on the description. So you can see it's the same paper, but don't stack it together like that. When you're cutting it, you want to cut it so that the two sides that are the same are together. Doesn't matter which way around you do it. And then with your trimmer, which I've just got off to the side here, we are just going to bring this into, put these two together. And we're just going to line it up here. What we want to do is we want to cut it on an angle. And we want to have about 2.5 centimetres on either side of the cutting channel. So it's about 2 centimetres from the right hand edge, and this one's about 2 centimetres, 2.5 centimetres from the cutting channel there. So just pop that down, keeping them together, just slice through them. Okay, so that's going to make the two cards. Now, what happens if you don't put them back to back like that? So here's one I prepared earlier. So this is one where I put them so they're just stacked on top of each other. This is an old retired paper. I couldn't bear to make a mistake on cutting the other one. So this is 2 pieces of pattern paper, and I've stacked them on top of each other so that the top, the main pattern is upright on both of them. Now, what happens when you come to make your card? So say we were going to use, say we're just going to put them onto a white base. I haven't cut these down so they have a mat. So we put that one down there, and then we want to put the reverse side, but it's like we can't butt them up. This is because of, maths, geometry. So if you stack them up together, you're going to end up with not being able to do the same effect of butting them together. I guess you could do some kind of feature thing. Maybe that's another card idea for another class or another demo. But anyway, let's get on. Don't do it that way unless you want to cause yourself quite a bit of frustration. Make sure the patterns are the same size patterns are facing each other when you do the cutting. Okay, so we've got those cut, and we're very easily going to be able to take the mats. And the great thing about this class, as I said, this idea is that you end up with pretty much 2 cards for the price of one. Now I'm going to get myself confused, aren't I? Okay, so there we go. So those are going to just butt up together there, and we'll stick them down, and just a little fine bead of glue around that is plenty. And I've cut these so that there's just a very fine margin to make a little border around there. Before we put this down onto the card base. So I've just used, as you can see, a black mat, and this is a standard card base. So this is so we're using half an A4 for the card base, and then the black mat, and then the DSP. So the black mat is going to be 10 centimetres by 14.3, and the DSP is going to be 9.5 centimetres by 13.8. Okay, so then obviously we can just mat that onto there, but I like to add a little bit more to mine. I'm going to show you how to add on some ribbon, and then, as I said, I'm going to show a quick tip for stamping a lot of the labels. So here's one I prepared earlier, and I'm using up some ribbon as well. Ribbon gives a nice texture, and it's a really nice added detail. And I'm just using a black ribbon here. So I find the best adhesive to use for my ribbon is these glue dots, because they're pretty well instant. and they don't show through. If you use a wet glue, they'll soak into the ribbon and they will show through. So the total amount of ribbon you need to do a diagonal bit like this, I'm going to make a bow as well. So if you're just using the ribbon, you're going to only need about 20 centimeters. But if you're going to add a ribbon on as well, it does use considerably more. It's always surprising how much more you need to put the ribbon bow. And I'll show you how I do that. So I've just lapped it around there and matted it, stuck it down with the glue dots. To make the bow, I very rarely take my cut a length. I usually do it off the length of ribbon. This is just a long bit of ribbon here. So I don't cut it first. I just do one, just leave it on the roll as such, and we're going to bring that up nice and tight. So I've just looped it around there. Now this can really easily come undone. So I will show you a little trick that I do so it doesn't come undone and it sits nicely. You'll notice that when I tied it, I actually tied it upside down. I find that tends to make the tails come out the bottom, which is what you want. And I usually use a couple of glue dots because it helps make the tails sit where you want them to, and it also helps stop the ribbon coming undone accidentally, because this is a quick and easy way with the little bunny ears, but it can come undone. So I'm just putting the glue dot on there, so it's going to secure the base ribbon and also secure these tails. Okay, so I've just made this quite long. That probably is a little bit too long. You'll probably notice that I'm decided that I'm going to put paper snips on my next order, because these are clearly getting a bit blunt, but they've been used for so much. So we want to use a bone folder just to get a nice crease on that. This is, as I said, just a half an A4, and I'm going to mount that onto there. So just using glue's not wanting to come out. There we go. Just using some glue around there. Just spread that out a little bit. Okay, so I've got that stuck down. Now we want to do, I've already got some little phrases we could use on there. You see I put this ribbon on the downward side, but you can put it on the upside. This is from a different set. Might be a little bit big for this orientation, I think. Could be okay. But I'm just going to show you how this little tip that I think is really helpful for doing sentiments on die cuts. So what you find is if you're stamping them first and then cutting them out, sometimes you don't leave enough space between your stamping, and that wastes card, or you leave too much, and that also wastes card. So this way you can cut it out of a base piece and use this part as a template, and then cut a whole lot more. And I just use my white scraps, which I keep in an envelope. So I use this as a template. In fact, I've got these mounted up so I could actually stamp two at the same time with this one. So you just slot it in there, so that just holds it in place. I've got the magnet holding that in place too. And I've already mounted these ones up so they fall in the right place. I stamped them first onto the mat behind, so I made sure they were square. And now I'm just going to use sort of my nice black Memento tuxedo. And another thing that's nice about using the Stamparatus is that if you don't think it's dark enough, you can just go back and do it again. So we'll just, there we go. Make sure they don't move when you lift it up, if you're going to stamp again. So I'm going to just make sure that's nice and juicy and stamp it another time. Great. Okay, whoops, that one's come off there. There we go. So that's worked out pretty nicely. I think I might use, I'm going to use a smaller one. So that's set up. I could batch stamp a whole lot of those, which is a real time-saving step. I'm just going to, can't see my take a pick tool, so I'll just use the little tip here to punch some of those little eyelet holes out that haven't come out. You can see we've got a bit of washi tape on the back of that, which I probably should pick off. Okay, so I'm just going to use some dimensionals, which are always close at hand, and I'm going to mount that here we go onto my card. So you can see this is a very quick and easy way to make a batch of cards, and you can, as I say, using the black and white, black and a pop of colour is a very effective but simple way of doing it. You can decorate the front. I've got some little leftover bits I might put on here to decorate the inside, or you could do some stamping on the inside. And these two cards. So I hope you enjoyed that little tutorial, and I'd love your feedback. I'll be trying to do these on a more regular basis. I think next week I'm going to show you one that, this is my prototype, and of course a New Zealand Mother's Day is coming up. And this is a lovely one that showcases pattern paper. Got a little lift up one. This is using the Peony Garden prized peony stamp set, which unfortunately is retiring. I think it is beautiful. And the paper has been retired for a little time, but you can improvise with other papers too. This is just an idea to help you use your papers and make beautiful cards. I hope you've enjoyed it. Thank you.